Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, folks.
Hi, folks. I'm not sure who's here. So if you are here, you should sound off in the chat. Um, we just got done finishing some illegal Twitch words.
We're saying the forbidden.
I had to get it out of my system before we started, okay?
Yeah, very
I didn't
fair.
want to mess us up.
Yeah, yeah.
Very fair. I figure we can probably just chill for a minute or two, and if more people pop in chat, then that's cool. If not, then we can just go ahead and get started.
Yeah, it's this.
I realized
notice,
something cool.
I don't know who's here.
What? Yeah. What did you realize?
PogChamp is a gender-neutral word.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes,
it is.
it is.
You are my little PogChamp, truly.
You realize that Judice has called Twister his little PogChamp, not in campaign, but in
Twister definitely.
in some
No, it happens
parallel
in phone
universe.
calls that we skip over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens in the phone calls we
Some
skip.
water.
Jeez.
Briefly, my cousin is in our stream. Hello, briefly, Jenny, if you're still here. But yes. So I have no idea if we have viewers or not.
Like,
because...
it could be glitching, I have no shit.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Really
Hi, Lil. Yeah, we're getting like glitching stuff on our end with how many viewers we have. So sound off.
Okay.
But, hi. Yeah. Okay.
Today is just a bit of a chit chat. We're trying to reach our 7 per 30 days stream thing requirements.
Hello.
And
A
also,
couple friends.
we want to go ahead and update people on stuff they may have missed and answer questions and stuff. I don't know. We aren't Critical Role, we don't have a Tox Machina or anything like that, so this is your opportunity to ask pressing questions. Shout out to Ace's IO makeup today.
It is very, very...
Word.
Say sexy? It's sexy.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say sexy.
Hey, Willie Blondie.
I
Hey,
appreciate
Kaz's
that
file.
you're here anyway, though, even if it is bedtime. But yes, so... Hi, Mom!
So, speaking of
Mhairi's mom.
we didn't know who you were till after.
I've
I
explained
was
this
the
to my
only
mother.
one on.
Yes, yes, the DM's mom in chat is my actual mother, in case anyone was not aware. So shout out to my mother, who I did not realize was my mother until after she had spent half of the stream in chat last week. So sorry.
It is wild. That feels like so much longer than a week ago.
Yeah, it does.
It wasn't a week ago. That was like a full year.
Bit of a fever dream, but here we are.
A little bit of a
I was still trying to figure out how like that all even happened.
Yeah.
Listen,
Mhairi's mom.
I'd say
the
that
only
we
reason
are-
I caught on
we are
because I was looking at the
smart.
nose.
we're high and low whiz.
Yeah. High as well.
Lori, have you info dumped enough to your mom about what intelligence and wisdom are as separate scores?
Probably, maybe not. I'm gonna say probably not, but okay, that's a no. All right, that's a no. I think that's a no, and my mother does not want to hear it. Bold words for someone that has been convincing me to keep doing the Ruby of the Sea cosplay for her. So,
Ooh.
Thank you for the follow, Imp.
which I am really excited for.
Imp Avid David, I believe.
Imp
Oh,
dead.
hi.
That's a friend.
Oh,
That
dead.
is a friend. That is a friend.
That's
We
a
know
friend.
them. Yeah.
Which friend
That's
is
a friend.
that?
Hi.
That is
That is
a
a
I
friend?
just see
forget
their
which friend
username
it is.
everywhere.
I believe it's either. I think it's Frost.
Oh, might be. Yeah.
Hi. Are
Sound
you
off.
Frost?
Are you Frost? But anyway,
Frost.
regardless,
Sea shanties are awesome.
sea
But
shanties
yes,
are awesome.
regardless.
Since we have a couple people in here, again, this is kind of a chill thing. I've just got chill music going on in the background, and so the way this is gonna work is I kind of have an outline of stuff that I can talk about, and this is going to be... I've made my mom be a player multiple times and she still doesn't know. Valid. We're gonna be watching chat. I'm going to try to watch chat between my outline and the stream screen.
If you want to just look at your outline and we can just like butt in if something important comes up in chat.
Well, the thing is that you guys can kind of butt in whenever as well. This is an open discussion, and I have an outline of stuff to go over, but if you go, hey, you forgot about this really fun scene, or what about this NPC, or whatever, you guys are totally welcome to interrupt me.
It's a Socratic seminar.
Yeah, just totally interrupt me, because, you know,
I may
all
play
do that.
devil's advocate here.
Oh god, no.
Let's say hypothetically, for the sake of debate.
Like my college anthropology
This
course,
was
we
my
call it a
next
modified
one.
fishbowl, which is where we all have to shout out a certain amount of times.
Valid.
No, thank you.
Participation grades in D&D, anybody?
But, and for those in chat, if at any time you have a question, whether that is about the world, about the characters, or about the plot that we're discussing, just go ahead and drop
Ask
it in
about
chat.
Or
As always.
us.
Yeah, or us. Just go ahead and drop it in chat and we'll answer it. We're just gonna be chilling for like an hour and
I
a
have a
half.
question.
Yes.
What are you knitting, Ewan?
This is the same thing I've been knitting for the past 3 months. It is a scarf that I made way too wide, and is now haunting me.
Scarf.
Oh,
Yeah,
poor
I
thing.
have a scarf of a similar width that is haunting me too.
So I'm going to finish this maybe by the end of the year at this rate. We'll see.
Well,
It's a good thing to occupy my hands.
I'm glad we're all bonding over haunted scarves. I can't knit for anything. I'm also going to be playing around with new stream overlays, so if things are a little bit shaky,
Ooh.
please bear with me. But yes, are we ready to kind of get started and start chatting about stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I figured when we're catching everybody up on the world and the plot, the first place to start is the world. And Aldrithe is a completely homebrew setting. I started from
Yeah, it
scratch,
is.
and it's been a pain. So the basic premise of Aldrithe is it is a new world in which the reset button was kind of hit on the world. I'm blanking again. I'm blanking on my own world because I'm nervous. But yes. Very recently, because I'm blanking on my own world because I'm nervous and I am blanking on the exact number of years, a divine war ended, and the divine war was so disastrous that it did two things. One, it basically hit reset on the entire world. All of the civilizations or at least most of them, that were around before the Divine War were completely destroyed, as these two teams of gods essentially just went at it, using Aldrithe itself as their battlefield. These two pantheons are, one of them is a modified version of an existing pantheon, the Dawn War pantheon or the Exandrian pantheon. So that includes gods like Melora and Cord, the Wild Mother.
Paylor.
Yeah, Paylor. Rip Paylor, my man.
Rip Paylor.
No!
F in the chat for my friend
Moonweaver,
Paylor.
that kind of thing. F in the chat for Paylor. I killed him to make room for some gods on the other pantheon, the Unspoken pantheon.
I won't even drop an F. The Unspoken Pantheon gods are undoubtedly better.
They are better.
F in the chat
No
for my boy Paylor.
F for the children of Gary Gygax.
Yeah, that's
Just
fair.
you simp for the Lady of Thorns and
No.
go away, so.
Bad word. Bad word.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
Anyway,
Beep. There was a beep.
You
there.
cannot be attracted to the Lady of
you
Thorns.
cannot be attracted to the Lady of Thorns.
You are in love with the Lady of Thorns.
The Unspoken pantheon is a bunch of younger gods. Yes, you brought cats. Thank you.
Yes.
Barbara.
Also, Cass. Yeah, it's probably the same thing. I was told make it a little smaller than you think it's gonna be because it's gonna end up wider than you thought. And I said, watch me. And now I'm watching me slowly lose my will to
Valid.
knit.
But so the Unspoken Pantheon is made of a bunch of younger gods that either filled their own niche, or oh god, we said the name, and now the chat is getting full with people thirsting after Mrs. Thorns. But they are all younger gods that either kind of fill their own niche or directly oppose a member of the Dawn War Pantheon, which is referred to as the Old Gods in Aldrithe. Through a lot of behind-the-scenes manipulation, that I think the group can find out a little bit more about in-game before I break that down. The two pantheons just went totally at it and destroyed the world in the process. And that is how we have Aldrithe, where the boundaries between the different planes have been completely ruined. And now we're gonna try a new stream layout, so bear with us. Vinny,
I didn't know about this.
If you could put the map on.
Absolutely.
And I can switch to the link. Alright. Oh boy.
Kind of.
Kind of.
No,
I'm working on
it. You have to unlock mine and
Yes.
like move it around. Or I can move it on my side.
I got
here.
it. I got it. So this is the map of Aldrithe. I'm going fancy.
Ooh.
You can see that it's color coded, and as different areas, as the boundaries between planes broke down, different areas of the world were taken over by different planes. So if you see Infraconium up there, it is completely shaped by the 9 hells. Everything there is affected by the 9 hells. The Fathom Waste, which is, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not.
We can't.
Okay. The Fathom Waste, which is in the center, kind of, yes, it is in quadrants for a reason. In between the top left and the top right, the Fathom Waste there, that's dominated by the Abyss. So color-coded, the light purple in the top left, that is divine, like the outer planes, divine planes. The kind of watery purple is the watery blue is the Abyss. The shadowy purple is the Shadowfell. The yellow in Athrusia is the elemental chaos. The Tantalian Islands, that wonderful vivid green, is the Feywild. The orange is, if Infraconium is the 9 hells, and then Catrum, you have one corner for each of the 4 elemental planes.
Don't forget about that little tiny bit of the 9 hells and the outer planes in my hometown of Naos. Can we get a shout out for Naos?
Get a shout out for Judice's home island.
Naos.
And then Terios, which you'll notice doesn't have any color on it, and that is because the entirety of the continent of Terios, monthly, the plane that dominates it shifts. So right now in game, you'll see we're going into the month of Oshamut, which is dominated by the Abyss, and that just changes monthly.
Like seasons, but worse.
Yeah, seasons, but worse. Which, fun fact for people who care, it doesn't have natural seasons. Aldrithe does not have natural seasons, and so that tells you things about the planet. But yeah.
Aldrithe does not have an axis.
Aldrithe does not have an axis. I was waiting for you to chime in. Or at least it isn't like, it has an axis, but it's not like.
It is not tilted on an axis.
It's not tilted on the axis. That's what I was going for. I'm so nervous. But, okay, I'm switching back to the main thing so you can drop the mat.
Okay.
But I love our little stand-in there. So that is a brief rundown of the world. And so the next thing to go over is who's in it. And so I kind of want everybody to tell us a little bit about their characters. I want to hear it from y'all's perspectives. So
We can go down the quadrants.
let's go down the quadrants. So Ewan gets to go first. How about you introduce the crew to Judice?
All right. Sure. Goodness. All right. Judice is, as I like to call, the world's least edgy vengeance paladin. He is a tiefling of, oh goodness. The Baron of the first layer of hell. Avernus is Baron. Goodness, Zariel. Yeah, he's a tiefling of the fallen angel, Zariel, and he is a very, very beefy boy. He is from the island of Naos, just to the north of Infraconium. It's a very small island, kind of from what we've put together, almost like a midway between Greece and Iceland. And he was raised in a temple by the resident father of the temple, an Aasimar named Omeros. And he was basically raised as the mouthpiece of a god who wishes not to speak anymore. And he was, there's some art. Oh shoot, do we have credit for the person who made that?
That was Logan?
It was Logan, yeah.
Yes.
I'll
work on getting an app for that.
And that is when he is very much so needs to clean his hair, because it is usually a light gray. But we have actually a good bit of Judice art if we want to throw in a few things for folks, if that's something we're doing. But he's not a gross, stinky man. And basically he was sent out on this journey to the campaign to basically, he worships Elnet, the goddess of justice and sometimes order. That's another good one of Judice.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask. And he was basically sent out to the world to, as he likes to say, right life's innumerable wrongs. And along the way, he has learned a few things about not just himself, but about the world at large, and maybe everything isn't just like the kind of his very black and white, stark worldview of good and bad. But anything else that I'm missing? Oh, his name isn't Judice. It's a title, but he goes by Judice.
Hell yeah.
That is my boy.
I would like to say something about Judice, but that is a no word on Twitch.
He yearns.
He is very madly in love with a specific NPC named Twister.
He's so very in love.
So deeply.
And if we're doing a thing on Twister later, then we can save that art for then. But feelings that Judice has not been acquainted with include joy, love, excitement, all things that Twister has made him feel and he doesn't know how to process. Food with spices. I think Omeros kind of taught Judice the case cooking approach. He kind of survived off of hardtack, beef broth. He had an apple once, I think.
Once.
He can have an apple. Once. But if there's any questions about Judice in the chat, please throw them in.
Yeah. Mostly you're just getting heckled by your own friends.
That's what I see.
But while we wait for any comments on Judice, next I'm going to say is probably Floyd. Can you tell us a bit about Armani?
Yes, I can. So Armani's whole character kind of starts with their family. Their full name is Armani Auxilium. And their family, the Auxilium family, actually fought in the Divine War. And before the Divine War, they were kind of like legends and adventurers. They, slayed dragons, and they did the typical D&D shit, you know what I mean?
They're like the Kennedys.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Auxiliums! Wah! Nervous Bastard is right. And so Armani grew up hearing these tales and these stories of their family and being expected to live up to these tales and stories. And because of that, they inherited this great burden and also a lot of anxiety. And so that's their main personality trait, is just being incredibly nervous all of the time that they're gonna fuck up, that they're not gonna live up to what their parents expect of them. But they are an Aasimar. They have 5 eyes, as you can see in the lovely picture that Ivory is putting up, Silvi's putting up.
Yes, me, Ivory, the player.
We're a big fan
Yeah,
of biblically accurate angels showing influence on ASMR here, so a lot of ASMR in this
All
world
the
have
ASMR
multiple
have
eyes.
multiple
We
eyes.
eventually looked at tieflings and Aasimar and said, why don't we like actually make them properly scary?
And then I
Yeah.
did.
I mean, Io is scary. Judice is.
Judice could be
Judice
scary.
is scary, but in a different way.
Judice
Also,
can be
Io is
scary if
not
he wants
at
to be,
their
but he
core.
doesn't. In fact, he actively dislikes being feared.
But yes, we are a big fan of everybody has multiple eyes. Continue, Floyd.
Yes. You're good. Hee. And so they're also a barbarian, which is a very fun thing that because I got nervous during our first battle.
It was epic when the reveal happened. All of us at least got
I
it.
was
Like,
gonna-
I only figured it out that session.
I was gonna
Me,
reveal it
on
in
the other
first place,
hand.
and then Mhairi was
You,
like,
on the other
so you
hand.
want to do this thing? And I was like, and so I never did it. So that was a secret for a while, but they're a barbarian, and their rages are more fueled by anxiety than they are by anger, but there's a pretty good even balance of both of those things. And the best part of their character, how could I forget, is Dark, who is their angel guardian. Dark used to be a celestial and then fell and is now a hot, sexy demon.
And,
That's
oh my
it, that's
God,
his
we're gonna
character.
be so hot and sexy.
This is Dark. I will kind of
Our
pick up. I will
Floyd.
interrupt for a moment to tell you a little bit
Yeah.
about Dark because I play
You're
him as
good.
an NPC. He is. I mean, you did kind of cover it. He's a hot, sexy demon. He works very hard to try and keep Armani safe, and Armani, for a good long time, did not treat him very well for it. We had a few conversations there where it was just like, yes, Armani crushes Dark's heart ASMR.
Yeah.
Neither Armani nor the party know a ton about him. He dropped a few names and stuff in the last conversation they had, but he's
Lots
very
of she's
secretive.
and hers and gardens.
Yes. Lots of very non-specific she's. He's actually a devil. I keep mentioning demon, but
Yeah.
he is technically
I was gonna
a devil.
ask.
Thank you. Devil, yeah.
He is a devil. He currently resides in the Nine Hells by technicality. That's where his home address is, but you won't catch him dead there.
I mean, you
And-
probably catch him dead
Well,
there.
you catch him dead there.
Oh, here's also
But
him,
yes,
a different
he is
version.
a devil.
Their relationship is kind of like, he's sort of their brother, but also their like surrogate father, but also their weird uncle. It's kind of a weird,
Very
but also their
complicated.
best friend. It's a
Yeah.
very complicated relationship.
It is distinctly familial.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
That much can be said. There's
That
not
much
like any like
Absolutely.
complicated, but not in the like, is it a romantic thing
No,
way?
yeah.
Not at
no.
all.
It's not.
Not at all.
Yeah, no.
It is very familial.
Darmani.
Oh no, don't say those words to me! Don't say those words to me! I hate it here.
Okay.
But
Oh my god. But
yes.
yeah, that is all I have to say about them. Any questions?
I love you, Silvi.
I will say I had two
Okay.
things. One, we did get a Judice is a Lego Shikini in the chat. Unfortunately, this is correct. And second thing is, yeah, you did not reveal
Oh, yeah, Judice does.
that you were a barbarian for 12 sessions. But I memorized
That
your
made
stat
sense.
block.
Okay.
I memorized your
hold on.
stat block because
Oh, God.
going off
I was-
of what you added to your rolls, and the fact that you didn't wear armor, and the fact that you had danger sense, and the fact
We
that
tried to trick him. We tried to trick
you
him.
No,
tried.
we
And for a
failed.
minute you swayed me, but then I realized nobody plays Kensei monks. They suck. So
No, 'cause-
yeah, I knew it was an ancestral guardian barbarian.
Mhairi told me, she was like, oh yeah, so Ewan thinks he might be a Kensei monk. And I was like, so what a Kensei monk like? And she was like, well, they like believe that their weapons are an extension of their bodies. And I was like, okay. So the next session
You tried to throw me off.
was like sharpening his sword, and Armani was like, you know, you should treat your weapons like an extension of your body. Because I knew that
Direct
he would know what the
quote. It
fuck
was a
that
direct
meant.
quote.
Yeah, you almost got me, and then I realized that is a quote from the player's handbook. You're not gonna get me like
This is
that.
too perfect. What do you mean?
You were like, I'm 100% sure they're a Kensei monk.
You did fall for it for a little bit.
For a little bit, and then I realized, no, you hate me too much. One, you guys love putting me through pain, and two, nobody plays Kensei monks. They suck. Just
Wow.
play a fighter. Just
Wow.
suck it
I'm
up
gonna
and play
join
a
your
fighter.
campaigns and play a Kensei monk just to spite you.
I will not be letting you in my campaigns.
Wow.
Fair.
Next Aldrithe campaign.
I'm
though.
kidding. Here's the thing.
Anyway.
If you want to play a Kensei monk, just play a fighter. Samurai fighters literally do everything the Kensei monk does better.
Rights for
Thank you.
monks.
God, hold on.
Anyway.
I think I have.
Bringing it.
No, I don't have notes from that session about it. Shit. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Bringing it back in.
Maybe I do.
Ivory time?
That is Armani. It's gonna be Ivory
Oh,
time
shit.
next.
Me. I thought it was going to be Io. Can we do
Would
Io?
you like it to be Io time next?
I would like it to be Io.
Okay,
time.
then it's going to be
I was
Io
getting
time next.
images.
Asaph, you would like to give a little
Oh,
talk about Io?
Oh boy. Okay. I was hoping it would be Ivory time.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm just really bad at like succinctly describing my D&D characters. So, okay, let's start with the basics. Io is a tiefling cleric, time cleric specifically of the Lady of Thorns. We haven't really covered the Pantheon yet, but the Lady of Thorns is Mhairi. Would you like to talk about the Lady of Thorns, or can I like wax poetic about my savior for a moment?
Would you like me to do the voice real quick?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll do the voice real quick.
She has a scary voice, and chat is in love with her because of it.
This is the voice of the Lady of Thorns. If you have
No,
not
it's
had the
not.
chance
No,
to
it's
meet
not.
her yet.
The voice mod is not
No,
working.
Voice mod is not working.
It's not working.
No, it's not.
I love you so
Hold
much.
on. I think it might be working in
You
chat,
can hit it.
but not on Discord, and I think that
Oh?
may be part of it.
Chat, please let us know.
Chat,
I
please
mean,
let us know, because if
we
it's
can't
based on
hear it.
yes,
It
it's
is-
working for them. It's not working
Okay,
for
I'm
you.
glad. Very good.
That's a
That is
little
because
sad.
I just realized my voice
I'm
mod is
worried
not
about
linked
Oh, they-
to Discord right now, but it is
Oh.
not. It doesn't go through Discord when they hear it on the thing. So unfortunately, you guys don't get to hear the Lady of Thorns, but they do. That's all.
That's okay. We know what she sounds like.
Mhm.
Oopsie.
Yeah, so Io is one of her clerics. Could say more about that. We get the sense that Io is probably one of her favorites. We haven't really touched on that a lot in canon. But Io has a little bit of a favorite child's complex, which comes from, also, we don't know a ton in canon yet, but we do know that probably part of the favorite child complex comes from definitely not being the favorite child by their like actual parents. So
Well, that's one way of putting it.
yeah. Shut up. Sometimes Mhairi will say things that are kind of spoilers a little bit.
Just a
and
little bit.
make us all like
Just a pinch.
just a little bit.
my
But
job.
yeah, so Town Cleric, which is homebrewed, which is super cool. I love being a time cleric. It's very fun. I could have chosen time or knowledge, but I thought time was cool and I wanted to play with it. I should start with Lady of Thorns. Lady of Thorns is the goddess of knowledge and madness, which
She
is
is
sort of a
chaotic
little bit
evil.
why I...
The Lady
Chaotic
of Thorns
evil,
is
yes.
chaotic evil. Just making this
Yeah.
clear.
The Lady of Thorns is very much focused on the idea of like constantly needing to know more, being pushed to know more, to figure everything out, to figure out the secrets of time and space so that you can control it and master everything that is your destiny to own. You know, chaotic evil, all that fun stuff. That's very much Io's thing. But as a chaotic evil deity, the Lady of Thorns is, if you worship her in public, you're going to get murked, is a polite way of saying it. So Io, when they joined the party, was posing as a cleric of Arano. A number of fans in the chat. Arano is based off of Buddy Arinko.
Yeah, Arano may
Vespa,
sound
the
familiar.
wife, is also in the campaign as Vespa.
Arano's full name,
It's
Friend
very cool.
Arano.
Yes,
Brenderano.
for
Alorano.
yes, Penumbra fans in the chat, we have two gods in the campaign that are Arano, the Lady in Flame, and Vespa, the Midnight Spirit. And yes, yeah.
They're in love. You know how we were talking about F in the chat for Paylor?
They killed him.
They killed him. They killed him with the power of gay love. It was great. God, this is what I was scared of. But yeah, so Io Pose was a cleric of Arano for a while. It was cool. It lasted a shockingly long time considering how early on I vandalized one of her temples. But then we started talking. So here's the thing is that Io's been in communication with Arano, which is weird because before going to the city that we were all in, Io had never talked to Arano ever. But now Io seems to be a little bit of a
hot commodity.
Hot commodity.
Speedrunner.
I was gonna say
I've
pet
spoken-
project.
Oh, yeah, that hits too. Io's been talking to a lot of gods. A lot of gods have been talking to Io. We're also learning that Io has basically been like relentlessly gaslit his entire life. So pet project is a good way to phrase what's going on with the god stuff.
Oops.
Yeah. Lol random XD, I guess, a little bit. You could summarize it as that.
Wow.
Chaotic neutral. This is their makeup. I sometimes do it for streams. Today I was like insecure, and so I said, you know what? Screw it. I will do the eye makeup. And I did. They have, I believe,
Lol XD in the chat.
23 tattoos and 14 piercings. I have a count somewhere. I have an accurate tally. So that's pretty fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's Io. That's
Also-
my son.
Dark, Armani's fallen guardian angel, wants to start a punk band with Io. This is just important for you all to know.
Io can play bass.
Yeah.
Io can't carry a tune in a bucket though. Their romantic interest is a singer.
We'll get to her though.
So
For now, oh yes, as a note, we're going over a lot of names. If you ever forget, there's a lot of characters that we have a little command through Nightbot and Stream Elements that can tell you. We have a list of commands there, and they will lay out for you any a good list of character names. I think that.
Oh. Sorry.
For all the NPCs, it's who is NPC name, and then for all the player names, it's PC and then our name, and it should give like a little synopsis of all the stuff. And we're working on getting some of the gods in there, but it might take a while.
Working on the Pantheon stuff.
I will say I forgot to mention a Judice thing. Judice has a giant dog.
We'll get to Fida.
Judice-
We'll get to Fida.
Oh, we're getting to Fida? Okay.
Fida comes later.
Okay.
For now, though, last but not least, the wonderful Ivory.
Hello. I struggle to talk and pull up pictures at the same time moment.
I'm so sorry. Someone
Ivory
had to have
is
the job.
Ivory is a wild magic tabaxi, and they have a bit
Such
of
a
trauma
sad
from
picture
that
to
fact.
show.
Yeah, no, this is one of the first drawings I've done of them. This
have
was
so many
right
happy
after
ones.
they left home and right before they went to the Feywilds, because they could write at that time, and I like to think that they tried to write home and never really had the gall, let's say. But here is some other art of them. The party has recently found out that Ivory was kicked out of school after fireballing someone on accident.
Oops.
And they kind of went off and went to the Feywilds and made a few deals. By a few, I mean 2. And they traded some things away, namely memories and skills. They can't write anymore. And they've been kind of bouncing around. Some of their bouncing around took them to a little place called Titan in Iconium, I believe. Where they then bounced off and found a wonderful little thing that we like to call the orb. And the orb was...
The anxiety sphere.
the anxiety sphere,
sphere.
was a bit of a cage for paranoia, who we'll get to in a minute.
Well, yeah.
Who kind of followed them around for about a year, and made them paranoid all of the time, resulting in them getting addicted to drugs and showing up in the new town and wanting to get rid of their orb. They tried to get rid of it. It wouldn't let them. They would like do the toss thing and it would just like stick to their hand, or like they try to put it down and they can't. Like
Almost like it could figure out what your intentions were.
Yeah. Yeah, Mhairi.
Hey, no need to scare us right now. I'm knitting.
Oh, that's my job. But yes.
Would you? Should I show paranoia, because I can?
We'll get to paranoia.
I think we'll get to
We'll
paranoia.
get to paranoia.
I will wait on that.
For now.
But
Yep.
For the most recent streams, we have had a little bit of their backstory stuff. They got to catch up with their sister, and they have a lot of siblings. So I think that's a good... They love their family. All their family is alive.
They actually have a
Man.
good relationship with their family.
With
Imagine
all of
that.
Not only are their family members alive, but they have a positive relationship with a lot of them.
All of them.
All of
No,
them.
To be fair,
All of
Judice
them.
can't have a bad relationship with any of his family members, because you cannot have a bad relationship with people that don't exist.
Rip.
Armani has daddy issues, but won't acknowledge them and won't admit to having them. So that's kind of where they are right now.
Yeah.
Judice has daddy
I mean,
issues
since we're all
from someone who
coming
isn't his
on
dad.
It happens.
Since we're all coming on audio to talk about our characters' parental issues, Io grew up in fantasy foster care and does not know who their parents are.
They
So
did give us
that's-
an
that's the
itemized
brand.
list of every single family that they have lived with.
Yes.
Yes,
Asa gave
I
me
am
a year
The
by
names
year.
and things that went wrong.
I'm very annoying. My DMs
No,
love
you're
me.
wonderful.
You are
As
a
one of your
wonder.
You gave me
of-
so much
Me,
ammo.
Floyd, and Vari are all your DMs in separate
I'm-
campaigns.
And you,
I'm
and
also-
everyone in this chat is Ace's DM in one way
Yes.
or another.
Well, not Floyd.
Oh, not Floyd, not
I'm
Floyd.
missing something, but
Not me.
Right, yeah, not Floyd.
But
Floyd's just my cool friend.
Floyd is just the cool friend. Floyd is cooler than
Yeehaw.
But yeah, I have effectively come up to all three of Vari, Silvi, and Ewan, and I have said, here, I have a character. Have an itemized list year by year of the backstory.
You gave me a year
I've
by
done that for all three.
You gave me a list of thing by thing by thing over the course of 500 years for a character once.
this is an alien creature. Anyway, unrelated.
Anyway,
Mhm.
bringing it back in. That is a little introduction to all of the characters, and so I'm gonna try and do a little rundown of plot stuff. And I have an outline. I'm going to try not to ramble, so we're gonna see if we can speedrun this, because I don't want this stream to go over 2 hours. That would be a little much. So, I am watching the time, I promise. So, bringing it in from big topics and kind of bringing into where we began. We started in a town called Targrave in the country of Kerkin. Vinny, if you want to throw up the map of Kerkin real quick.
Yes.
And I can show the map there. So, forgive my map creating skills. I don't have a software that I really like yet, so this is what I like to call MS Paint. So you can see that red city in the center there, that is the capital, Targrave, and that is where we
That
begin.
is also the star on this map. That
Yes.
star.
The star
Same
is
place.
kind of Kerkin because it takes up the corner of Terios. But yes, you'll see that as we kind of move forward in the plot, the group starts traveling north. But the good portion of this campaign, I think 11 sessions or something, was just in Targrave, so there was a lot going on there. But so that is where we started. And I'm just gonna kind of wipe the map for now. Targrave is the city of glass. It is built on top of a hillside, and the district that belongs to the most wealthy members of Targrave society, the Glittering Hills district,
The
is
bourgeoisie.
the bourgeoisie, the gentry. They are constantly competing against each other to create giant buildings with the most extravagant pieces of stained glass art that they can, which means that it creates this constant silhouette of sparkling at night. Vinny, you're echoing a
Floyd.
bit.
No, Floyd is echoing.
Oh, is it Floyd echoing? All right, Vinny.
Floyd
Oh,
is
wow.
echoing.
I have headphones in.
I thought
Sorry.
it was Vinny. Yeah, you're good. If you look at our little backdrop here, you'll notice behind me.
I'm pulling up the actual image.
Nice. You'll notice behind me. So if we pull up an image in a second, you'll see. But there is that pretty stained glass. That is because our backdrop here is. I don't know if I'm allowed to. If I can approve
I'm looking
those
at it
messages
too.
or not.
I'm looking at it too. Can I approve those?
Are we down with having that word? Okay, hold on. This is our.
Yeah, no, you can put that in. That's fine.
Okay, I'm
Allow.
gonna allow. All right.
That's fine. I am that, and I know this person, so it's fine.
Yeah, it depends on Floyd's comfort level, but so this
I-
is made
Drink
by our artist Sav. This is Targrave with the Glittering Hills with its giant stained glass buildings, and it makes the whole city light up different colors at night. It's pretty cool if I do say so myself.
Quite poggers indeed.
Jesus. They each member of the party made their way to Targrave individually, and once they arrived in Targrave, kind of spread out over a few weeks, the day that Judice arrives, the last member of the party to arrive in Targrave, the news breaks that the Princess of Kerkin, Princess Lasri Sandomir, has been kidnapped by a local rebel group known as the Raven's Court. These names are important and will be repeated a lot, but there won't be a quiz, don't worry. So, the group is drawn in by the Crown's Guard to try and investigate the disappearance of the princess and hopefully bring these terrible anarchists to justice. If you watched our last stream, you may notice that someone named Lasri is traveling with the party. So you may notice there's a slight, imbalance here. And so how did we get here?
How did this happen?
How did this happen? The information they got immediately was that Lasri had just been engaged to Lord... There's Lasri. I'll pull her up real quick on the big thing. This is Princess Lasri here. Again, looking at biblically accurate angels and all that good stuff. She is an Aasimar, but she has 4 eyes, and she kind of has traits of both more human-looking Aasimar, and this is Ace's art, yes, and more inhuman-looking Aasimar. So she has this kind of blue, this blue vitiligo that kind of goes on, and she has hair that seems more like light than hair. She's a little interestingly ethereal, and I've described her in some weird ways, and I'm excited to see them occasionally poke at these details. But the information they're given is that Lasri had just been engaged to one Lord Ambrose Robinhall when she went missing, and a threatening note was left behind by the Ravenscourt in her room. The party is given this information and hired to track down the princess, and they enter the castle to go and investigate. This entire party is terrible at investigating, and we've...
Hey.
You couldn't roll above a 1 for, like, 5 sessions.
Well, no, it's because Floyd used my natural 20 on an ass check for Lord Ambrose Robinhall.
But, yes.
C'est la vie.
Lord Ambrose Robinhall is one of a few important names that we meet once we enter the castle. We meet him. He is the pretty attractive betrothed of Lasri Sandomir. quite flirty, seems to flirt with, he's an Asmar, and he flirts with Armani quite a bit in particular, which throws Armani off quite a bit. It was very funny. We meet King Galadin and Queen Ivy, the rulers of Cairkin and Lasri's parents. Galadin is just gaslighter 101.
Galadin is a
Gaslight,
and I hate him.
gatekeep,
I want to say so many
man.
words. I'm still not
Male wife.
being able to
Male
say lots
wife.
of words in a row when we're on screen, but I hate him so much. I hate him. He's awful.
We have a lot of very strong opinions about Galadin.
Just wait, we haven't gotten to strong
ano-
opinion characters in the
Yes.
castle.
We meet another character whom one person in particular has quite a strong opinion about. One Sir Nicholas Davenport, the head of the castle guard. Wow, God, I just love mentioning his name. He is criminally incompetent and lords his incompetence over Judice. Judice never recovers.
If you looked up the word incompetent in a dictionary, you would pull open that page and his face would be smack dab in the center of it. No other words fit. An entire page is just dedicated to this sheer embodiment of ineptitude.
Judice has a lot of opinions on this man.
Very strong ones.
Very strong opinions.
To
We
be fair, they're all warranted.
Yes, they are completely warranted. And last kind of in the castle crew is Zyanma Peacemaker, who guides the group. This is also Ace's art. Zyanma Peacemaker, you may notice that if you look in the description here, I go by two different names. Mhairi, which is there, and Zai, which is in the description. This character came first, I promise. However, she is definitely my self-insert. I won't lie to you. I will not. I'm gonna be upfront here. She leads the group around the castle, though at the time they didn't know that she had a cat. She leads the group around the castle. She was the last to see the princess before she was kidnapped, and tries to help the party learn more about the mystery. Theoretically. She had the weakest alibi in the world.
And we all trusted her because she was a lesbian. I'm the one to figure.
Yes, and it was because
Not your character, you.
And it was because I
It's
put
fine.
"Do It For Her" on the NPC playlist, and you made a connection. That was exactly what it was. No, Zyanma liked you guys. She just had a job to do, and you guys were kind of getting in the way of her job. Also, she was terrified that you guys were going to figure her out.
We did.
What are we,
and then we helped
knocks?
her.
Yes, well, we weren't sure. And she was kind of their closest ally for a little bit, until she started, pulling back a little as they started figuring some stuff out. They also interviewed a guy named Elias Daysong, bit of a prick.
We licked his table.
I licked his table.
Yeah,
They
I
just
licked his
harassed
table.
him for 30 minutes. And then we had some mentions of the Lighton family, who seem to be kind of a recurring name, though we haven't had more than one interaction with them yet.
They're like Kroger.
Yeah, Floyd, are you talking?
Yeah, it's Jojamart. It's literally just Jojamart.
Yeah.
I remembered that I was muted as I said that, but I wasn't quite. While we were.
The Lighton family is the Jojamart to the
Garden Valley.
Peacemakers Pelican Town.
What were you saying, Floyd?
I was going to say that when we were investigating Elias Daysong's house, I, Floyd, fell asleep during that session, so I missed all of that. I feel like
Oh!
I forgot you did that! I forgot you fell asleep! I forgot you fell
I
asleep!
just straight up
Happens to
fell
the
asleep.
best of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeehaw.
yes. It was an experience. To be fair, if it helps, I don't remember much of the Elias Daysong interaction either, because I was sitting here going, what? Sorry, what? You licked the sorry?
You licked the table, and Judice really wanted that sword on the wall.
And you didn't get it. And
No,
also,
because I'm not gonna rob people.
And finally, poking around the city, they, mainly Ivory, came into contact with one Lady Delilah Bellman, head
I love
of
her.
the library in the area, known as the Millennium Archives, which, yes, the Millennium Archives is a fucking podcast.
The Millennium Archives is a
It is
podcast.
There are a lot of jokes about this in our quotes.
Welcome to the archive of my own.
Yes. Ivory tried to bring the random orb that they were stuck with to Lady Delilah Bellman for study, but Lady Bellman didn't have a lot to say on the matter. Instead said that she could look into it and update them on it later. And before she had any good updates, everything went to shit. So...
She did try to touch it, it burned her.
Yes, this was the first incident of the orb being strangely hot. And burning people.
Oh no, wait.
Yes.
I just thought of something.
Oh no.
Lady Delilah Bellman. Ow!
No! Jeez. But...
No!
No, God.
I'm sorry.
But they meet all of these people while doing their investigation, and their investigation goes on for several days. And during this time, the party goes to stay at a local inn, Peacemaker Place, which is owned by Zyanma Peacemaker's family. Zyanma has some siblings, and her mother and father also live and work there. The party has some rooms there, and one day, while they are out getting dinner, it's their first day in the city, because it's Judice's first time in a restaurant. And
An entire building dedicated to eating? Why would you need that? When would you ever have so many people in one place where they need to eat together?
we start to realize just how sheltered Judice is.
Started. That was the first sign that something was wrong.
Started.
Up until that point, Judice was this like professional, stoic individual who spoke to the people above him in status and age with like reverence and respect. And then he sits down in a restaurant and they're like, so do we need to bring out our own mess kits? Do they just bring out the food? Is there like one thing here that they serve? What's a menu?
We ordered him we asked for some wine. It was given to us for free.
Judice
for
has
some
had
reason.
wine before, but it was like...
It was not like this.
This was
No,
good wine. This was
Communion
Peacemaker wine.
wine is not real wine.
Judice
Yes,
has only
communion
had
wine is not
communion
real
wine.
But either way, there are a lot of things that Judice discovers. Okay. Love you, Floyd. There are a lot of things that Judice discovers while at Peacemaker Place. One of the things that Judice discovers while at Peacemaker Place is a tiefling. A local tiefling named Twister. Who, if we have an image of Twister...
We have multiple.
This
I
is
was ready.
Twister. Yes. A blue-skinned tiefling with big... It was great. Twister started out with straight hair, and then every time they got drawn, their hair got curlier, and now it's just wild, and I love it.
Vari made the mistake of giving Twister's description to a bunch of artists who draw really curly hair.
Yeah.
I just love them.
Yes.
I
love them. Can I do the Twister
I
laugh
have
real quick? Hold on.
Yes!
That's the Twister laugh. But they are a local. They have never left the city, and they want to be an adventurer someday, but they've never had the opportunity nor money to do it. They love to dance, and they teach Judice to dance in what becomes their first date. Because the two of them just fall, Judice and Twister just fall head over heels for each other, and it is God. Yeah, my description of big hair and an even bigger heart, I cannot stress this enough. They are so sweet. And one of the things that they fixate on is the sky and the stars and the moon. And one of their main date things is twice they go up to a local wizard's tower and get to look out over the city and up at the stars. And
The first night they spent together, they had the dance, and then he was already planning on seeing them the next day, but he had some time to burn, and he saw they were still at the bar. So they went to the top of a tower that their friend owns, and they looked at the stars, and then right before Judice left, as a goodbye, he tried to recreate the first night that they had ever spent with one another. And
Do we have the art of them on the tower?
Oh, I do. I do.
Send that to me. I'll get it up.
One moment. I'm on
and
it.
in the
Not to
meantime,
plug my own art, but that scene was so dark.
Please
I'll just
that.
keep talking. That he tried to have that first dance that they had just they had shared together, and then he brought like some bread and cheese, and he tried to get wine, but he couldn't afford it, so he got some water and then stuck some lemons in there. Judice has never seen a lemon before. And
he tried to karate chop them with his
Judice
sword.
didn't bring a knife, and he was like trying to cut like the bread and cheese with a long sword. That didn't really work. And then and there was a scene where he was like, trying to show off a little bit. He threw a lemon in the air, tried to slice it with his sword, and both halves of the lemon went careening off the edge of the tower and then hit someone down below. And Judice was just covered in lemon juice. It was a lovely night, and their first. Oh, yeah, that's the art.
That is the
The first night that they spent together.
I've never seen this one.
It's
everybody
gorgeous. I love
everybody cried, I think.
Yes,
The first night.
Session 2,
I
I
was
got all of
bawling.
them crying.
And
We also have an image of we were doing live streams on TikTok of one of our friends who was watching crying by their
Yes, Siri.
on their bathroom floor,
Oh, God.
which we
I
have as
will-
a yearning image in our server now.
I will
Yes.
also say, if we do have that bit of art that Izzy did, the deer in the headlights one is what I like to call it. If we do have that,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna go
That's
searching
okay.
for images
That's
again,
okay.
because that didn't
That's
work
okay.
out well. But
that's okay. That's okay. And while Twister may often get hooked up on the sky, Judice is always just looking at them. Anyways,
yes,
and their beautiful purple eyes.
yes, it is one of Judice's main things that he is completely head over heels for their purple eyes in particular.
One of the big like quotes that made us all sob was there was this long pause, and Ewan just looks up, and with the kindest look on his face, he just says, "What color are their eyes?"
It
And we
was
all
such
just-
a god. We're still not over it, and that was
No,
session
we're not.
2. But
That was 6 months ago.
oh no, God!
That was 6 months ago
That
tomorrow.
was 6 months ago.
6 months ago tomorrow. Terrifying. Anyway, so that was the night with Twister, and then they all continue on their investigation. There are a few more Twister dates in between, one of which creates, one of which had Judice wash his damn hair. And that was great, but we don't need to go into a lot of detail on that. For now, they got an invite during their investigation to an auction. Sorry, I'm adjusting volume. And whoop, everybody's back. There we go. They got an invite to an auction, and in the process of getting ready for an auction, they met a wonderful tiefling named Ishbel Riverdance, who I'm not going to go into too much detail on, but I just needed to mention her. I really can't do their voice anymore. I've lost it. It was kind of I don't know.
They gave me money, and they will forever be in my heart as someone.
I don't know. It was kind of I don't know if y'all sweethearts. I can help you as best you can. Kind of thing. I don't do
My
voices
heart,
very well.
my soul.
I miss Ishbel. But they met Ishbel Riverdance, got some fun party outfits. And at the auction, everything was going relatively well, I think, for a good bit. They were doing some recon. The auction was still being held, despite the fact that this tragedy had undergone the royal family, and everyone was kind of sus about it. But they had to go anyway to get approval from the royal family, and I feel like this is my time to admit, again, first part of this campaign, there's a lot of Penumbra references, and no one paid attention to the items that were on auction. So I'm going to take a moment to admit
Oh yeah, we never looked.
no one paid attention to the
We
items
didn't
that were on
care.
auction. And
To be
We're
fair,
sorry.
we didn't care. We weren't
you didn't
buying
care.
anything.
That's fair. And there were a few interesting items on that table that I was intrigued to see if you would look at them, but I will admit, I will
Don't be
come
shy.
clean. One of the items was the Gilded Globe of Reaches Far, written in Elvish.
Oh my goodness.
And for you
Perfect
Renumber
stands
fans in the
remember
chat,
this.
you just need to know that. But yes, that was one of the items. I will come clean there. But regardless, it goes well. They were kind of doing some scoping out of the guest list and interacting with people, trying to figure out what was going on. The auction was delayed because of the king's fears that there would be some kind of incident. And they tried to figure out what that was, kind of tried to look and see if... The king said he got a vision from Elnet, which the whole party was like, no.
That is bullshit.
Here's the thing. We didn't think that could happen, but now it has happened to Judice, and now I'm like,
Maybe.
But he got a
No, King Galadin is a stuck-up little prick, and Elnet might show up in visions, but she would never show up that directly. I'm sorry. I get
Exactly.
it.
And that often.
Yeah,
He did claim
no.
to routinely receive
He
visions from
absolutely talks to something. Whether or not he actually believes it is Elnet, that is up for
Elnet.
debate.
He fully believes it is Elnet.
Okay,
we
then
did
no,
check
something is
to see
talking
if
to
he
him
was,
in
like-
his dreams, man.
I think it's one
We'll
of the
come
evil
back
gods,
to that.
but
Hey, we'll see what happens when we leave this since we've left Targrave for a while. Now that the princess is gone, and we've enabled a rebel group to overthrow the government. We'll see what happens to the socioeconomic state of the capital of Karakin.
But regardless, there is an incident at the auction in which one of the servants, her name is Marvane Skyden, lashes out at Lord Ambrose Robinhall and brings a fire elemental to the party. And the group is forced to fight her. And she loses. And after kind of beating the shit out of a good part of the party, mainly Judice.
I think it was mainly
It
Judice.
was mainly
you took
Judice.
all of the hits.
Yeah, Judice took all of the hits.
That tends to be the case.
But they eventually managed to get her kind of cornered, and she ended up running, which created some problems for them in the future. And this ended in Judice getting arrested, as the guards believed that he had let Marvane go, as the rest.
It was
of the
either
party.
Judice get arrested
We
or
did.
everybody gets arrested.
We
So
did
Judice
let
got
them
arrested.
go.
But Judice took the fall, worried the shit out of Twister. In
Oh
case
yeah,
you
because I
forgot
ran
about
into
that
them on the way to the
interaction.
prison.
Yeah. And so the party is separated for a little bit, and while all of this is going on, Ivory's getting some very ominous dreams.
Oh yeah, I still have the words.
I know. I
in my
remembered when these
notes.
dreams were because
we
I was
allowed to
looking through them
know?
in your notes.
Oh, thanks. Did you figure out how to access the new ones?
Yes.
Dope.
But, some very threatening dreams from a disembodied voice in a void, that, made fun of you and, told you couldn't run anywhere. And it was great. It was great.
I hate him
Bye.
so much.
Thank you for coming. But, this was just going on. And then the party kind of forgets about the plot for a bit, because we have an arcade day. We go and play fantasy laser tag for a day, and we get to meet Twister's roommates, which are 3 members of a polycule. Their names were Journey, Daira, and Helly. As much as I love Daira and Helly, Daira is a Firbolg apothecary.
I love them so much.
Yes. And Helly is a very, very feisty halfling. Those 2 are great, but for the sake
Closer
of
to hell,
time,
more rage to use.
for the sake of time, we're gonna focus on one of them. Journey, bright pink tiefling. She is a bard, who basically plays the magical electric guitar. And she kind of hits it off with Io. And they all play fantasy laser tag together. I believe Io was last man standing. getting the win for Io's team.
Yeah,
You were
Judice
like
and-
across
Judice
the
and
map
Sister were
when
two having,
Judice
like, a
and
stalemate where they were like,
Judice
I know
and
you won't do it. I know you won't. And then they both just shot each other, and Io was standing in the corner. It was the epitome of I was over there on the bench.
I was sitting on the bench.
Io won by default. It was great. This was another date. It's important that we establish Journey. But throughout all of these moments, Io starts poking around some of the shadier corners of town and starts to try and track down this rebel group, the Ravens Court, because they're trying to figure out what's going on. At this point, they've figured out that the Ravens Court is not super involved in this kidnapping, whatever happened here. And they're trying to figure out how the Raven Court is related to this. So Io gets a mission from a Ravens Court member that he finds to basically make a scene, give the Ravens Court credit, and maybe they'll be recruited. They vandalize a church and frame a priest.
That was
really
an
well.
interesting way to get the attention of a rebel organization that you're trying to join.
Not only did Io get the attention of the Ravens Court, though, Io got the attention of Arano. As mentioned before, Io was vandalizing a thing to Arano, and when they asked permission from Arano to do it, they were then harassed by Arano for the next 7 sessions. Oh, we lost Floyd. Oh no.
Floyd writes.
Floyd writes.
Floyd
down their
returns. Yay.
Asa is DM
Sorry, my
now.
Wi-Fi did some like weird shit, and I had to like do some stuff. Sorry. We're good.
The Io gets through it. Flying colors, frames a priest. It's terrifying. It's still one of my favorite moments of the entire campaign. And at the end of the day, after it happens, after the news breaks, after another day of work, Io is brought by a familiar pink tiefling to be recruited to the Ravens Court. Journey. Journey is known as Canary within the Ravens Court. And they meet up with a small group of Ravens Court members, including, though their names were not given at the meeting, they were recognized by Io, Ishbel Riverdance and Lady Delilah Bellman, who are known as Stitch and Quill, respectively.
I just now got that.
Also, we're seeing
You
Marvane
just
is
I, I didn't remember their names. I didn't remember what they did.
Stitch, a tailor.
Stitch
Quill,
is a tailor. It's
a
all related to
librarian.
all of their names are either related to things that they do in real life, like outside of the Ravens Court, or things that they do for the Ravens Court.
So
This
Io
is
got
a
to pick
terrible
their
way to
name.
make code names. Like, you will
yes.
so easily get caught.
Io, who is not known
Who
to the
wasn't
party,
like out to the party.
yeah, chooses the name Thorns as their
But
Ravens Court names.
He's
Which was-
nothing if not devout.
So super subtle. But that goes on, and the party gets super complacent. And they start, but in this time, they manage to get Zyanma to admit that she was involved with the kidnapping, that the kidnapping was faked. She tried to stage it relatively badly because she had been in a secret relationship with Lasri for 3 years.
Lesbian rights.
And she was trying to break Lasri out of the city and kind of failing, and the group decides to help out Zyanma. Over the next few days, they get their arcade episode and stuff and get super complacent, and next thing they know, Zyanma has been arrested, and they are under suspicion of the king and queen. And so, while they make themselves way more suspicious to the king and queen than they need to be, at one point break into the castle in invisible. Ivory manages to sneak in and
No one saw me. It was wonderful.
sneak
And
in
then I did jump
steal
out of
stuff.
the window.
Yeah,
Or no, I didn't. I
No,
threw
you-
something out of
you threw
and then I ran
something out the
away.
window and ran.
You threw a
But-
chair.
Yeah, it's Ivory with a metal chair.
The poor
From
Ottoman.
Scott Pilgrim, where Ramona comes up to the door and it's like, "Where's Scott?" You know,
Just left.
he just left.
Just left.
But between that, everyone hating the king and pissing him off, and then the resulting jailbreak that happens as they try to make
Also
sure
invisible
that Zyanma's safe.
Ivory.
Also Invisible Ivory. Invisible Ivory was just the MVP of this section.
Yeah.
But
I
they
was so scared this entire time that I was gonna have a wild magic surge
you
every
managed to
single
make it
time.
through.
Please note, my wild magic surge is not when I get a 1. It's when I get a 1, 2, or
Yeah, 1, 2, or 3 because of
Oh,
your deals.
that's because I know you said you were less lucky than usual, but I thought you were going by the system of every time that you fail, every time that you don't get a magic surge, it goes up by a number. So if you
No,
go
it's
2 spells
1,
without it,
2,
that's
or
2.
3.
4 spells without it, 4 or below.
No, that's too
There's
complicated.
a
That is
very
a-
distinct reason for this, which Ivory has not touched on ever.
Cool.
But yes,
in
no,
canon.
instead of just on a 1, Ivory's Wild Magic Surge activates on a 3 or lower. But by some miracle, for a good long time, we don't get any Wild Magic Surges. But after this, they realize that they're in deep shit, and they start running from Targrave. They collect the princess, who has been hiding in Zyanma's basement, and Zyanma, they say their goodbyes. Twister has one last date with Judice. There's kind of a wind down with everybody. And then the group just books it, and we begin the trek north. I still don't think the party knows exactly where they're going, other than north and out of the.
We're
country.
trying to make our.
Just
We're
out of
trying
the
to
country.
put some distance between ourselves and Targrave, and hopefully go through Moongate over into the neighboring country.
Also, we did get some information later about the shit that happens later, and we want to get more info about that. So
Yes.
that
Oh yeah,
is
here's the thing.
happening.
We are going to pass through one of those cities that we meant to stop at. On the way to Moongate, and I will bring that up next session.
Yes.
Wonderful.
But for now, they head north towards Abdor, the city of steel. I tend to give major cities big names like that. It's a giant mining town. And,
City Steel.
it's a giant blacksmithing town. And you can see it in the architecture, which is very a cross between very industrialist and Gothic, which is interesting.
Home of the Curious Forge.
We'll get there. There's only really one big thing that happens on the road to Abdor, which is they meet a small family of Kenku. Unfortunately, I'm really not going to dwell on the family, but Whistle, Bell,
They were cute.
and the rest of the Kenku family, they were great, and we got to see Io be nice to children. But they arrive in Abdor, and I am unfortunately just going to summarize the Curious Forge. They take a job from a place.
Curious Forge.
There is a blacksmith known as the Curious Forge. They take a job from the tiefling with the yellow horns to go find his lost monkey. It does not go well and takes way more effort than it should.
It was absolutely hilarious, and
You
we had a
said
blast.
the words, I cast Compel
I cast
Duel.
Abjure enemy on Curious George.
I cast Compel Duel on Curious George to make him fight me to the death was a direct quote, because you couldn't catch him. But
if I can't catch him, then he has to catch these hands.
they also find a posting from a scientist that seems to be traveling, known as Branch of a River, who they have just missed passing through town. Ivory recognizes the name, and Vinny threatens to kill me. But moving on. The main person that is really important in Abdor is one Briar Brightarrow, an eclectic wizard who lives in a tower on the outside of town. She talks like Luna Lovegood, and kind of looks like fantasy Luna Lovegood too, now that I think about it. And she's an air genasi, but like a starry sky air genasi, because air genasi should be allowed to look like the sky, and I live by that. But she gives them a mission to go find some stuff in the forest, and bring it back. It's got a really good reward because it's really difficult to find, but it'll probably be fine, right? And then we begin the Fated Four's No Good, Very Bad Day, where they go to the Elder Forest, which is a giant forest that takes up most of the continent, and they go to the edge of the forest because it's nearest to Abdor, and they go to track down some dryads, which the dryads... It goes very badly. The dryads manage to turn the party against each other with 2-on-2. Io and Armani charmed to believe that Ivory and Judice are monsters and need to be killed, and Io nearly does it. Io with a crit on inflict wounds nearly kills Judice, and Judice actually still has a scar from the incident. And after that traumatizing experience, it was bad. After that traumatizing experience, the party then has to go track down more shit in the hills, and they find what Briar refers to as a piece of a fallen star, which they are told not to listen to whatever it tells them. Which, you guys never listened to it, and I'm so sad you never touched it directly.
We listened to our instructions and we held it through a burlap sack.
So many things that they're listening to at all times.
Yeah, Io already has enough voices to listen to, but it
No
was really
way.
funny. It was supposed to interact with Io differently than it would the rest of the party because of that, but that's besides the point. But
There ain't enough room in your head, kid.
why is Skelly giving input on this? But
Hey, boyo.
there's a brief incident where they have to cross a lumber yard owned by the Lightons on the way here, and we see the birth of the Johnsons, which is the party's prime
Alter ego.
disguise, which they are a disjointed family. Absolutely ridiculous. We see this happen a few times. It's just fun. It's just I'm not gonna go into detail on that because we don't have
Juice
time, but it's fun.
Johnson.
Yes, they all
I
have
do
J
use-
names.
I use the name
At your
Jade.
service.
Yes, Jade, Juice, Gio, Jarmani, the Johnsons.
Why did only two of us? Why did only one
My name
person
isn't
actually?
mine. That's one of my siblings' names. You know that, right?
Oh, I know. But like you could have gone with Ivory.
I could have, but I didn't.
Judice just removed the D from his name.
Juice Johnson is so fucking good, though. Like,
Oh
genuine.
yeah, it is.
I'm gonna name my next D&D character Juice Johnson, I
Nice.
think.
It fits your theme, but
What theme? Hello?
I don't know why I'm reminded of your old time traveler. I don't know
Oh,
why.
Rifle Kentucky.
Rifle Kentucky.
Hey,
Juice
Rifle
Johnson and
Kentucky
Rifle
loves my
Kentucky
life.
seem to be the same. I don't know why.
They're best friends. They're gonna be best friends.
They're gonna be best friends.
Perhaps more.
Whoopsie.
Oh,
That's not the
a
picture I
little
need.
spoiler for what's coming, but
Whoopsie.
speaking
That's
of,
what I
you may
meant.
have seen a being of many eyes there. We're about to get to this being of many eyes because the party has had the shit beaten out of them. They have been possessed. They have been turned against each other. They've had to fight vines that nearly killed half of them. They're at each other's throats practically.
Io was being relentlessly gaslit again.
Yeah, Io's being super duper gaslit, and the party gets back to Briar, ready to... Oh, as I mentioned, Briar had some fun and funky powers. That made it so... despite the fact that Armani had told no one, except for Judice, I think, about Dark's existence, could see...
No, Judice found out,
That's right,
and
Judice
then
found
Armani
out.
had to tell Judice.
But, could see
Armani told you to
Dark's
play in
presence
buildings, yeah.
next to Armani, and could guess their names. But she wasn't guessing. She knew them. And that could be told by the fact that she asked Judice which name he wanted her to use. That wasn't me dead naming Judice, to be clear. But it definitely spooked him. And Judice was uncertain about Briar the entire time, which he shouldn't. He should have been. Because by the time they got back, they brought
No one
her...
else was.
They brought her the things that she needed. They got their reward. And, yeah, ironically enough, I said that, but Judice is actually the only cis member of the party.
Happens to the best of us, King.
But, I will never dead name a character in this campaign. Never. But, and then Briar is like, hey, I'm gonna be doing a ritual with the cool stuff that you brought me. Would you like to stick around and see what's going on with the ritual? And half of the party said sure, and half of the party said no. And
No,
then they stayed.
everyone except Judice wanted to watch.
You're curious. You have someone who went to school to
I'm
study
an irritable
magic.
wallflower.
Someone
It's
who
dangerously
married,
curious.
like, is the child of a
that
god
one.
of knowledge, and Armani, who just is Armani.
And so
Here's
they
the
stay.
thing. Oh god.
And so they stay, and Briar
Basically.
begins a ritual that seems to create this interesting little tear in reality. And we are introduced to, the entire party is formally introduced to Paranoia, the being of many eyes that has been haunting Ivory through the orb for a very long time. And in these proceedings, he leaves from where he was possessing Briar without the party's knowledge and hops bodies into Armani and possesses Armani for a time. If you'd like to
Would
drop
you like
the
the
Armani
picture
art,
now?
yes, I would.
Yes. Sorry,
This
I
is
did that
our-
earlier.
Our Armani and Paranoia art, drawn by Floyd himself. And yeah, it was bad time for Armani. It was not good.
Dark got a little bit.
But they got a
down.
dog.
Yes, and as it happens, when Paranoia took up his residence as possessing Armani, more of a parasite than a possession, he kicked out the existing one. And Dark went MIA for a while, which terrified the shit out
Are you
of
calling
Armani.
Dark a parasite?
No, I'm calling Paranoia a parasite. But it's, you only got room for one devil on your shoulder.
Okay.
But hey, they got a dog. Judice used fine steed and got a giant stone-looking Labrador, black Labrador, named Fida. And when I say giant, I don't mean like a Great Dane. I mean horse-sized.
Yeah, because Fida is a steed, therefore Fida is 6 feet tall at the shoulder, and can be mounted in combat by Judice. Also, Judice can see everything, hear everything, and smell everything that Fida is experiencing within a mile, and Fida shares all of his memories.
Yeah. But Fida is also partially her own being, which makes
Yes.
it interesting when she is a celestial, tries to interact with Dark later on. But that's besides the point. Yes, Floyd, it looks like you're trying to say something.
Topic Paranoia. Can I share the self-insert fan art I drew?
No.
No,
No.
you cannot. Moving on.
Oh, actually, I had a question.
Yes.
Will
So,
you give me
if
your language?
anyone else in the party had common sense, and we decided to not watch this potentially dangerous ritual, if it was just Briar in there, what would have happened?
Briar would have been possessed, I assume.
Briar
It was already possessed.
Then it was probably going to fuck up my orb. I don't know.
Because, like, it wouldn't
Have found
have
the
gotten us
nearest
as...
person to possess. You know what I mean? Because he's
closest
free to
to
that
the-
thing, so the orb is still, yeah.
Why
would
don't
probably
we
have
just
seen-
get the hell out of here?
One of us.
I don't know. I have no idea.
God, Paranoia Judice is still a concept that terrifies me.
I think Mhairi knows us well enough to know that at least one of us stayed.
Well, I knew at least one of you was going to stay, but also I do know what would have happened. I'm not going to tell you, but I do know what would have happened.
I don't like that.
I am going to demonstrate the Paranoia voice to, again, you guys won't hear it,
Yes,
but I
please.
am going to demonstrate the Paranoia voice to chat.
Guys, we have 420 views.
Nice. On what?
Like, on our account.
Oh, awesome.
This is the Paranoia voice.
Okay.
For those that are not familiar, he is a dick.
Regardless, he uses he, it pronouns. He is cool, and immediately after this happened, they have... Why does it
Oh.
keep doing this to me? I hate it here. Right after this happens, they, no, I'm convincing more people in chat to... No! You're not allowed to thirst after the god of eyes.
Yes, you are.
What's wrong with me?
Join us.
Bum be dum bum be dum
That's
bum.
This is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted.
Anyway, I did just do the "this is not what I wanted" in the Paranoia voice, since y'all can't hear me do that. But I put on the voice mod for that. Regardless, the the party has to deal with, oh god, what's happening, and they try to figure out how to navigate that. They have some chats with Briar. The party is kind of separated for a little bit to try and make things safe. It only kind
Retail
of works.
therapy.
Yeah, there's some retail therapy that goes on. And then after a little bit of retail therapy, we have a dream. I have a Whispers chat that we don't use anymore, but I pulled Ivory and Armani into the Whispers chat for 30 minutes. And
I was shaking after this dream. Like, my hands were cold. There was no blood in my...
Yeah, y'all had a terrible night, and Judice was just sitting here trying to eat bread.
Terrifying.
They had started to move on the road again when this dream came to them, northward again towards Lathan. And how do you guys want me to talk about all of this dream, or would you rather keep it to yourself?
No, it's fine.
For it.
We don't have metagames in this family.
Yeah. Go for it.
Basically, Paranoia was like, "Hi, Armani, let's have a chat. I'd like to make a deal. You free me and I don't kill you." And Armani was like, "That's not good enough." And he went, "Okay, you free me and I don't kill your friend." And the thing is that this negotiation was going, And so Paranoia went, "Do you want proof that I can do all of these things? Because I'll prove to you that I have the ability to do all of these things." And then he didn't wait for an answer. And
He's gonna traumatize his Asimar and didn't wait for an answer.
yes, first he just showed that he had Dark in a place where he could see him, to Armani, and then when Armani was like, "Fine, I'm listening," he was like, "Cool," and that's when I dragged Ivory into the,
That was the most terrifying 4
Without
seconds
warning.
when I didn't know what was happening.
Without warning. And while Ivory was there, he decided to strike a deal that they would free him, and in return he would be merciful to the party and to Dark. And when they were asking too many questions, he went, "Every time you ask a prying question, I will make you regret it." And then they asked prying questions, and he started torturing
Hey,
Dark.
I asked Armani's explicit permission.
Yes, Armani gave permission for Paranoia to
I
tor-
said
to
I will
torture
not
Dark.
ask a goddamn question unless you say I can, because we do need information. But
I
I
s-
value you
I s-
and that other person
I
more.
still feel a little bit bad that I did act out Dark screaming. But
Yeah.
it was a thing. I was very
We
mean.
can't hear you, Floyd.
I was very mean.
I was just playing with my dog, man.
Yeah, and because of this, because of me dragging their hearts through the mud, they agree to free Paranoia in 5 days or fewer. And in return, he would be kind to them. And then they woke up. And we have a little bit of the split in the party for a little bit. Bonds that have seemed to kind of stuck. We have 2 teams. We have Team Armani and Ivory, who have now trauma bonded, and Team Judice and Io, as they try to figure out what the fuck is going on with Armani and Ivory.
I don't know what y'all's name is, but we have Ivermani over here.
Well, that's because
Well-
y'all are becoming a ship, and
Shut
I
up.
cannot
No,
imagine.
Judice and I were
Here's the
absolutely
thing.
not.
Judice
Here's
and I
the
are
thing.
not a ship.
Here's
Judice
the
and I were
thing.
not.
Again,
Judice
if-
and I
if-
are not becoming a thing.
If
No.
Aldrithe was made by all
Ever.
straight people, it would have been Judice.
No, we're not speaking this into
Don't even
existence.
go there.
We're not
No.
even gonna joke
We're
about
not
that.
even gonna joke about that.
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
No way.
Terrible. Terrible.
Ugh.
Those are not my words, by the way. I didn't speak that into existence.
I know.
Someone else did.
I know.
It was
Someone
me
in
and
this
Floyd, I
call.
think.
I know. But yes.
Just saying.
The group is told this information. The group is updated on who Dark is. And the group still has to move northward. The group still has to move northward. So they go to the city of Lathan. They don't spend and also, Lazari and Zyanma are still with the party the entire time. They're hopping between, witness protection programs with the Ravens Court. They are still traveling with the group, though, but they're just kind of along for the ride, having identity crises, so that's why I'm not talking about them too much. But they are still there, to clarify. They continue forward to Lathan. They have a short mission in Lathan that didn't really do much, in which they did a favor for a local tavern owner in recovering some ale. We see the return of the Johnsons, and the only kind of really important thing that happened during that segment was we see Ivory's wild magic act up for the first time in the worst way possible, because by complete chance, the first time we see Ivory's wild magic out is when a fireball goes off, which is,
Actually, no, the one
that's
before that was I got bubbles come out of my
That's
mouth.
right, there was bubbles.
Yeah,
once.
bubbles come out of your mouth. But yeah, the fireball happened when Judice was right next to you.
It was bad.
Thank God I'm a tiefling.
Yeah. And so Ivory has a bit of a trauma moment. And then they have to break into an old woman's house, and Judice sends spam emails to his father figure. No, I will not elaborate on this. That is exactly what
If
happened.
you want that dog, send a letter to this address.
Yes. And God. But the party can't concentrate on any of that fun stuff, because they're now running out of days. They are continuing to move northward at the highest speed they can, but they're running out of time before Paranoia needs to be freed. And as they speed northward, they make their way, between Lathan and Wakefeld, the town that they are currently in, they free Paranoia. It is not a fun experience for anyone involved, but there is a ritual in which the group frees this demigod of fear. It was fun for Io.
And no one else.
They haven't heard from him since. He just said that.
It's like
He said
people say no news
is
is good news, and it's the opposite thing in this case.
It said
feels
it
very
was a very busy spirit, and it had some places to be, so he would be speaking to you all later. And you haven't heard from him since. So you just kept making your way northward towards Wakefeld. On the way towards Wakefeld, there was a thing on the way towards Lathan that everyone has forgotten about, so I'm not going to mention it. There was, they make their way towards Wakefeld. They get their portrait painted. Then they arrive at Wakefeld, which is a city built into the mountain. It's got a couple different districts, but there are 4 floating islands chained to the side of the mountain that's known as the Idalak. There's going to be some stuff up there next session, so that's why I mention it. It's where kind of the upper class of the city live, but the majority of the city
gentry
is built into the side of the mountain or within the mountain itself. And they arrive just in time for the Festival of the Weeping Sun, which is what they're currently in the middle of right now. But they've also been tracking this one little line of posters posted of this scientist that Ivory knows. And when they finally arrive in Wakefeld, while they cannot find a posting in the city, they arrive at the inn that they want to stay at for the night, and they picked the right one. And River is there with her partner, Chance.
That's my sister!
And yes, River is Ivory's oldest sister, who speaks in an accent that I cannot do without preparation, but is relatively similar to Ivory's. And Ivory cannot remember River's partner, Chance. Can't remember him, despite the fact that he remembers them, and they should remember him. They don't. And they don't know why.
I'm still not convinced that this is just because I gave up the memory of home. Because I only agreed to one person.
I know.
That wasn't part of the deal.
Fae are funky little things.
They are funky little things, and I'm going to rip their little wings to pieces.
It didn't have wings.
I don't know, because I don't remember.
I know you don't, but I do. But I know exactly who you made a deal with. But regardless, they meet up with River and learn more about the city and the festival that's upcoming, they sign up for roles in the Pit of Prestige, which is a gladiator pit event. Very, very hyped throughout the entire city. They set up an arena for it. They sign up for that under the name The Fated Four. This is the first time they take on the name.
It took us 6 months.
Took you 6 fucking
I'm
months.
very happy with that name. I think
It's
it
a good,
was one
yeah,
of
it was a
the-
good one. And they
We're
also
still
come
taking.
across.
Oh, I was gonna say we're still taking suggestions on what to call the viewers at home other than.
Yeah,
And I think the Fates was
the
one
Fates
of those.
was a good one, especially if we have like, I have some ideas regarding that. But
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm still working on how we could balance that, but I have some ideas regarding the Fates if you guys want to go by that. But regardless, they also look into some information on a job that they will be taking in the near future at a local place known as the Tasty Tinkerers. It belongs to an artificer named Rock. And yes, they'll be working 3 nights at the Tasty Tinkerers.
Heavily inspired by the book series Benny Bugbear's Pizzeria.
Benny Bugbear's Pizzeria. They get to have 3 nights at Tasty Tinkerers. But they haven't gotten there yet. They just got the basis of that. And after that, the party kind of speed ran the entire first day because they wanted to get to the Pit of Prestige before the end of a session. And after that, we arrive at where we first streamed last week.
And you can catch us on Twitch every Sunday
Yeah.
at 7:30 p.m. Central.
The
for
VOD
4
Or
Yeah,
hours.
5:30 if you're a Pacific Standard Time kind of guy.
Or if you're Mountain Time, where that is.
Wherever the fuck that is.
Or if you're
Sorry,
in
Floyd.
a mountain.
But,
And if you're having
if you live in
Fucking
Wakefield,
Fucking losers.
Or if you oh god, what's the section of Canada that like is 15 minutes off on their own time area?
Oh, no.
no, we're not.
They
no,
don't
God.
exist. Then I'm sorry, you can't come.
Then you're not invited.
Oh, no, you are invited.
You are invited.
There's also,
So
yeah, there's
Arizona.
people in Arizona. Or, 11
It's like 6 days.
p.m.
It's
for
terrible.
people in the UK. I think that's where my cousin, what time my cousin can pop in. Yeah, either way, that is picked up with the VOD, which is posted on our YouTube, which is linked in the description, and is also still on our channel. But you know, quick
For
summary.
another week.
They fought the second round of the Pit of Prestige combat against a group known as the Contract Warheads, which is another group of 4. A
So beautiful.
tiefling named Kyron, Captain Kyron, if you will, a swashbuckler ex-pirate captain who is very hot. There is the Goliath Zopu, who is a cleric of the Everlight, the first interaction they've had one-on-one with a worshipper of the old gods, because it's not common on Terias. They have Alden the Knight, who I hope you guys will get to know a little bit more, and Chant the Goblin, who I also hope you guys will get to know a little bit more. They were the fight was very difficult, but the party managed to make their way out. It was looking rough there for a little while, guys. I was a little bit worried that they were gonna beat you. I'm not gonna lie.
You think that Judice could lose in
I
combat?
that if Io went down, Judice would have hugged them when they woke up. So something good was going to happen, even
That's
if
true.
death.
That's
'Cause
true.
that was-
I was also very scared that Judice was going to die. That one-on-one fight
Oh,
with
yeah.
that with Captain Kyron, that was wild. And when that healing happened, I was really, really sure that Judice was gonna go down. Then I remembered I had Misty Step.
Yeah, that Misty
and-
Step saved you. That Misty Step saved you. Kyron would have killed you if that had not happened. But it was great. There was some wonderful rapport. Kyron was making fun of everyone within a 30-foot radius. And meanwhile,
What is it with this back and forth banter?
I'm getting tired of the quips. All right?
Yes,
It's
no,
getting a
I
little bit
keep
boring.
trying to make
witty
better ones,
one-liners.
and now I'm like, I'm having to refer to
Sorry,
like
your
every old one in
one-liners
the
aren't
book.
as good as mine.
Hey,
And meanwhile, as those two are going
how
back and
dare
forth,
you?
as those two are going back and forth, Armani and Alden are just vibing, in the corner. Neither of them can hit each other for shit.
Just
So it's
missing
like,
over and over and over
I'm
again.
having a
Which is
they're
more
having-
embarrassing for Alden. It's more embarrassing for Alden because Armani has a truly terrible armor class.
Yeah,
Armani, we love you, but
We both have 13s, I think.
y'all both. The fact that the barbarian has the same armor class as the
Teen, I
sorcerer.
think.
Sorcerer.
I
is
will
the
say, Armani, tell me at least
It's a-
what your health is.
It's a 13.
What's your health?
Mm-hmm.
What is your health?
What is your
My
health?
health?
You're a barbarian. You have a hit die of D12.
Your maximum health.
No worries.
We
But-
know how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm just.
Prolonged
What? You guys
I
always
don't
have a
contact.
PDF of your
Prolonged
character
eye
sheet up
contact
on your
for long.
computer at all times.
But
Yes,
That is a
I
white
do.
screen.
I don't know what it means though.
but
Yes. Here's my character sheet. It
That
says
is-
nothing on it.
yeah, it looks blank. But regardless, they managed to prevail. They got a good bonus, a little prize for it, and a lot of fans. Several groupies actually.
party.
Yeah, a good amount of money and a good amount of groupies, which were based off of people in the chat, because I love interacting with people, and if I can come up with a reason to interact with chat like that, then I absolutely will. So we had Corduroy, Peaches, and Lillian, the groupies. But before they went and talked to the groupies, Kyron, the head of the contract warheads, invited the rest of the group to a rager, a party that they were holding up in the Edellock. And just kind of extended an invitation for the rest of the day. The group split off, had a bit of a bathhouse, bathhouse episode. Io.
Can I share the art from this one
Yes, you can.
in a minute? Okay, keep continuing. Go.
Io
to pull
went
it.
and got clothing for fancy party clothing for the rest of the group. I think Armani and Io. I'm not sure if it's Armani or if it's just Floyd, but those two have their eyes set on romancing members of the contract warheads, I think. I can't hear you, Floyd.
Romancing and more like, why not? Hello?
Yo, I
Yeah,
can
we
hear you
can
now.
hear
I
you.
can hear you now. Repeat what you're saying.
Weird. I was gonna say, it's less romantic and more,
Look,
Hitting
so
on,
flirt.
perhaps eyeballing.
I mean,
perhaps
Io
looking
is-
up a little bit.
Io has his heart set on making out with Kyron.
Fair
And Judice wants to race dogs.
Yeah, Lillian.
Ivory just
Lillian.
wants to get really
Really,
crunk.
Blondie, we love you. If you're still here,
Yes,
so excited.
Lil, if you're still
I'm
here,
so
I-
excited about your character.
I love and adore you, and I can't
We
wait
have
to run
been
the
just
races.
thinking about how to race them.
Oh
all
boy,
week.
I'm
no,
trying to
Ewan
calculate what
has-
is the feet per second of a magically enhanced wheelchair,
Ewan
and
has
if
picked
it
up
can
2 calls like
exceed,
this.
feet is 60 feet per second.
Yeah, he's been planning. Which means that I haven't done it yet because I've been so busy with exams, but I am also going to be planning. I'm on your side, alright, Lil, I got you. We are going to maximize speed with the combat wheelchair. We are making it happen. I am gonna grind him
Can
into the
Io
dust.
cast haste on Judice
That
before he
is
does this
cheating.
race?
I will be busy making out
Okay,
with
so
a
no
pirate
magic?
captain.
No magic? No magic? Is that what
No.
we're saying?
No, no outside magic.
No outside. You said Judice couldn't Misty Step.
Well, that's not racing. That's just teleporting.
You have to cross the entirety of the place you're going.
There's a difference between Lillian powering the wheelchair and you fucking teleporting. That's cheating. Like, look, that's cheating, right, chat? Like, teleporting in the middle of a race? That's
I'm on
cheating?
your side, Mhairi.
Yeah,
A
okay.
race, that's just teleporting.
That's just teleporting. You're not racing. Look, chat is on my side.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna defeat him, I promise. We're gonna make it happen.
Very smart.
I'm
But
okay with
yes,
losing.
would you like to show art? I will introduce the art that we have.
It's just me yearning. That's it.
Oh right, yes, the bathhouse moment where
This is all I
again,
have.
team Ivory and Armani, or just Ivory.
I am on this team, y'all. I made a playlist. I whipped up a playlist.
An hour-long playlist in under 15 minutes
Under
of being
15
notified.
Yeah. That look, the devil works hard, Asa works harder.
I am now. I don't know why I looked at the art and I am now picturing Armani if Armani only had 2 eyes and it's the 2 lowest most eyes. So just this is all forehead.
Oh, I don't like that.
And
That's
the eyes
very
are
not
here.
good, thank you.
But that Ivory and
So
Armani
awful,
did
actually.
have a bonding moment in the bathhouse where Armani just straight up fell
More-
asleep on Ivory.
Yeah. I was just like sticking my feet in the water.
It was cute.
What is the definition of a race? Is something that we got in the question.
We'll debate
Oh.
this in another time. We'll debate this
Yes.
another time.
I know it.
Yes.
I know it seems inconsequential, but the reason Armani fell asleep is because every time they go into a rage, they take a point of exhaustion. Because
and you went twice in a day.
And they went twice in a day because their anxiety and their rage took such a toll on them that after they come out of it, they're just like fucking gone. I forgot to mention that earlier. I figured this was a good time to bring that up.
I will
So.
share something that you might need to know.
Yes.
Barbarian rage exhaustion works the same as regular exhaustion, which means when you take a long rest, you don't lose all of your exhaustion. You lose 1 level of it. So tomorrow you
Here's,
I know.
here's my interruption here.
Yes.
The interruption is I am God and I make the rules. So
Never mind.
the rage clears both points after a day.
Cool,
Oh,
never mind.
okay.
So
Dark
As
gives
you
you
were.
a magical
Well,
pat
I
on the
knew
back.
I knew what Ewan was saying. I didn't know what your part was saying. Thank you.
because the level of exhaustion thing applies to berserker barbarians that have their frenzy thing. That is its own mechanic that is only to that subclass. This is not something that's naturally included in Ancestral Guardian.
Ancestral Guardian.
So this is something that we added specifically for Armani, and in that case,
Okay.
Yes, in that case,
Never mind.
because
I don't
it
play
is
enough
just
barbarians.
anxiety. Yeah, because it is just anxiety. It is a you can sleep off the panic attack. You can sleep off of the once you're out of the panic attack. You can just
You can
conk
turn
the
it
hell
off,
out.
turn it back on, and we're good.
Yeah, you can conk the hell out. That resets both your points of exhaustion. This doesn't count for all points of exhaustion.
Yes,
Just
just for the rage.
Just for the rage
point.
ones.
Gotcha.
But yes, yeah, and the party was going to take a nap, get themselves together. Dark was going to help, because Dark is entirely known to the party after the paranoia incident. They had a whole group bonding activity where Dark dropped a lot of pronouns
Lore.
and very vague lore references, and then refused to explain literally any of them. Got a name out of that too. I'm not sure if anyone wrote down the name, but you did get a name out of it.
It was Zaz, right? Or am I
That was
stupid?
the name.
I have my notes open.
That was the name.
Yeah.
It was Zaz that got dropped. But I think I will give you this. If I did not do it in the moment, Zaz is not the person with she/her pronouns. I think Dark did refer to Zaz with different pronouns at one point. Which Zaz uses.
I don't remember, but
Uses he.
I
him
will note
pronouns.
that.
The she that is mentioned is someone else.
It's a very, I think it's a negative connotation,
Perhaps
or at least
someone-
annoyed.
Maybe
Back
you
in my
should
notes.
ask some more questions and see if you get any answers from it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna
But yeah.
be talking to him a lot.
With the party getting ready for that, she derogatory. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly it. But with the party getting ready for the party, that was where we left off last session. So with that is all.
That's
Q&A.
it. Unless anyone has any questions. like,
Yeah,
that's the stream.
if anyone has
we're almost
any-
at the 2-hour mark.
Yes, I've been trying so hard to get everything in. So if the party has
Very good
anything they want to add, or if anyone has any questions they would like to ask about the characters, about the world. I know I didn't talk much about the Pantheon, but there's a lot going on there, so if you have any specific questions, I will say, important names in the Pantheon that I will go into, because they get name dropped a lot. Elnet, the Scale Bearer, she is the
That's
god
my
that
lady.
Judice worships, and she is incredibly distant. She has been ever since the Divine War. She doesn't really interact with her followers. But law, as Judice mentioned earlier, law, justice,
Sometimes order.
sometimes order depending on who you ask, because she is so distant. There's a lot of different interpretations of her, but she is like the official god of Kerkin, so there's a lot of Elnet supporter, like followers around.
This is the town of Jesus.
On the complete opposite of the spectrum, there is Kasena, the shallow trader, who is the goddess of lies and betrayal. Just looked like you snapped your fucking needle. Who Judice has a grudge against for some reason. Besides the Elnet thing, there is
not just for the Jesus reasons.
And she is goddess of lies and betrayal. Elnet's ex.
Hey, Asa, why did you call my law mom? Why did you call my law mom a bitch?
Elnet is a bitch, and I like her so much.
Elnet is a bitch, and I like her so much.
Okay.
Then there's a Lady of Thorns, which we mentioned earlier, which is the lady with the spooky voice, who everyone is in love with for some reason. She is the epitome of gaslight gatekeeper boss. And I love her. And who else was I gonna hit? Oh, I was gonna hit Urano, who, as I mentioned earlier, the Lady in Flame. She is the goddess of light and sunlight, particularly. And her wife, Vespa, is the goddess of the moon and moonlight and patron of assassins. And Urano is, yes, the nice mom. I did not mention this. Urano is no longer in contact with Io. The ladies started to pick up on the fact that Urano was in contact with Io, and Io was starting to get in trouble with it.
Boss.
And so
they got grounded.
Yeah, for Io's own
got their phone
safety,
taken away.
Urano is no longer in contact with Io. But it was a whole thing. The Lady of Thorns was like, you don't get to interact with other gods, and you don't get to interact with the pretty pink tiefling Journey either. Go be mean to her. Despite that, Journey is still Io's love interest very distantly. There is something there, and the polycule is open. But they are not like actively.
Hopefully next session we're gonna get a little. We're inching. Fingers
towards it.
I talk to Vari about Journey and Io all the time. It lives in my brain rent free, and we've canonized that some of the interactions that we have discussed in our DMs have happened in Io's dreams. So Io is fine.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about the world that is Journio DMs.
Good.
I know it is so much more in depth and intense than the actual relationship that Io and
Their
Journey
actual
have.
relationship is that they call on the phone like once a
Yeah, it's
and they're
justifying.
like, I did a thing, and it's like, yeah.
Io admitted to finding Journey hot last session,
Yeah,
and
that
that's
was
like
fun. That was fun.
I think we already knew that.
Things that didn't really get mentioned that I think are like worth noting. This is just cute. When Judice had his last little date with Twister, Io wrote Journey a note and delivered it via possum.
Has possum familiar.
Oh yeah, I have a possum. He's pretty cool.
What was he at first? Because he changed.
It was a rat.
Yes, it changes. In theory, it changes every time. Oh yeah, it was a rat. I actually got it from my background.
Yeah.
It's called
cool.
give gifts. But yeah, it was a note.
Give
it was
mouse,
a note
give life.
that was
It
like
was a note. And then Urano decided
fucking
that she
hijacked it.
in on the action and rewrote the note without my consent.
She didn't rewrite it per se.
I still don't know what she said.
No, you don't. Journey does, but
I didn't know you could write cursive.
that was exactly what happened.
Anyway, so that was a thing. It was cute. Both Twistus and Journio have Stardew Valley themes, I think.
Yes, they do.
That's pretty cool. And then also...
And, no, Twistus doesn't. Lazari and Zai do. It's Lazari and Zai and Journio. I think.
Twistus has...
No, I thought Twistus was the Moonlight Jellies.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Twistus has Moonlight Jellies. Lazari and Zai has Winter, the Wind Can Be Still.
Yeah. And then...
Journio.
I forget what Journio is, but we do have one.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in the forest after killing Judice. The thing about like the Lady of Thorns caught up to Io is basically that manifested in Io had a dream where effectively they found Journey. They like ended up confessing to a bunch of shit that was like, yeah, I've been going behind the lady's back and I don't really know who to trust anymore. And then Journey turned into Cassina because it was Cassina the entire time. And effectively, like
you haven't told Ewan about this before, Asa.
I've heard about this.
I haven't.
Was like, all right, we need to talk, and then sat me down, relentlessly gaslit me for about 15 minutes, and then Io.
I would say I'm sorry, little bug, but I'm not.
This was my first hearing about this. What?
Yeah, no one was going to tell you.
Yeah, no, that was fun. Yeah, no, it was rough. It was rough. And
Cassina, the embodiment of hey girly.
couldn't wake up. Oh yeah,
Cassina,
no.
hey girlies, it's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
I love Cassina's mannerisms.
I love her so much. I'm sorry,
She's
Ewan,
hot as
but I
hell as well.
anyway, woke up, couldn't wake up. The party couldn't wake me up. That was cool. When I did wake up, I had no powers. I couldn't use my powers for like 2 days. And my entire notebook, which I have been I've been writing in notebooks to the Lady of Thorns my entire life, was completely empty. So the Lady of Thorns really said, no more Fortnite.
$19 Fortnite card. Who wants it?
No more Fortnite? But yes, no, Cassina. Yes, this is the first time Ewan is hearing of this, but yeah, Cassina's mannerisms are wonderful. She hey girlies,
Greetings,
and
girly.
it's my favorite thing. Because yeah, it's the oh, that was so rough for you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just channel the sorority girl. I really do.
Yeah.
With the I would actually.
We've been
I'm
waiting
sorry.
for you all summer, and we're so glad you're finally here.
We've been waiting for you all summer, and we're so glad you're
No,
finally here.
don't make me make that TikTok. Cassina on the Lady of Thorns in the back of Io's head. We've been waiting for you all summer, and we're so glad you're finally here.
I don't understand this reference.
I'll explain it to you later.
It's just a
Ewan.
sorority girl audio, but
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Cassina doing the, hey, when I cosplay Cassina, I'll do the
Hey, girly.
I'll do the pose when I cosplay Cassina.
Hey, girly. Let me guys keep girl boss you for a second here.
Oh yeah. I mean, the great thing is that Cassina basically has like 3 different personas, but her favorite right now is the hey girly. And it is also my favorite right now. So she may act differently the next time you interact with her if you interact with her again, but you'll see how that goes. Look, she's a goddess of lies.
Oh.
She doesn't have a straight personality.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I'm so sorry. Cassina kins Junko and Ashima. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
No!
You sure be saying
I'm
things.
so glad I don't know what that means.
Kamakura, yes, queen.
No!
I've never consumed any Danganronpa content.
Okay, you should, because it is actually, it's...
Anyway, what was Ewan gonna say?
Yeah, anyway, so, Judice actually did get to talk to Elnet at some point. Judice prays a lot to Elnet and, like, has these long monologues that, like, you know, would be really awesome if they actually got a response, but they never do. And then one time, after Judice has had a particularly difficult realization of he can't only do good, and he will sometimes have to contribute to the innumerable wrongs that already inhabit the world. And all he can hope to do is one day do more good than he has harm. And he was having this realization, and he was talking to himself kind of like outward to Elnet, but it was less of a prayer and more of a just he wanted to talk to someone, and it did not want to be the party. Someone who understood why he does what he does. And he basically said, every time that I try to do something good, some more bad happens. Is there ever going to be an end to it? I know this is my whole life, but will my work ever be done? And it was in way better words then, but he actually got a response of someday. And which is wild because Judice, in his 21 years of talking to, in 21-year relationship with Elnet.
I was about to say, I thought you were about to say that was your age, and I was like, no, it is not.
No. He's 21 years with Elnet.
Yes.
He has actually never gotten a response, and that was a first. So wild.
Judice is our oldest party member, for the
Judice
record.
is the oldest party member. Judice is
Judice
27.
is the oldest at 28. Io is the youngest at 22. 22.
Hold on, I'll check where I have like a cheat sheet for everybody's.
Io small.
Io's both the shortest and the youngest.
Yeah, I'm 5'5". Everyone else is at least a foot taller than me, I think.
Yep.
No, Judice is 6 foot.
Io was 21. Io was 21.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Io was 22. No, Io is 22.
I thought so.
Io was 22. Sorry, Io was 22. I was looking at the wrong thing.
I know our Armani, Ivory is the tallest at 6'4", because Tabaxi are tall and people forget that.
Yep. And they're one
Definitely
of the shortest.
forgot. I thought the entire campaign, I was like, oh, Ivory's so small and cute. And then someone's like, yeah, no, Ivory is 6'4", and it threw me for such a fucking loop.
Yeah, it was like when we were in the Cancun house or whatever, they like it was like a tiny cave. We're all stooping.
Yes.
Io is just like standing. The rest of us are like in half.
Quick thing. Someone mentioned a raid. I want to know more about the Pantheon. Let's explain that. But yeah. Speaking of a raid, Travis McElroy is currently streaming. If we want to raid Travis McElroy,
Can we raid Travis McElroy? Please?
Yes, we will raid Travis McElroy. We can do that. So real quick, since you want to know more about the Pantheon, I'll say kind of last thing to talk about is Pantheon. What do you want to know? The Pantheon is kind of a broad thing, so I can give
There's
you like
a lot of them.
I can give you a really quick like speed rundown of everybody.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of if we raid Travis McElroy's stream.
He might know our name.
He might acknowledge us, and I will.
He might acknowledge
lose
us,
my
and
mind
I
if
will.
He does.
He might notice.
Oh,
Good night. Thank you for stopping
Good
by
night.
for so long.
Thank you for stopping
Let me
by.
look at
Bye.
okay, God. Hold on, I know.
But yes, what do you want to know about the Pantheon? I can just speed run talking.
There's
about
17 gods. Like there's a
How big
lot.
is it?
Are there
17.
polytheistic sects and/or
And,
monotheistic? Pretty much everybody in the setting, like I'm talking like 99% of the setting is going to be polytheistic, believing in both the old gods and the unspoken.
I do not
Pantheon.
recognize the existence of these physical beings.
That interfere with our life and destroyed our plane.
The old gods are cool, but they are less worshipped in a lot of places. The unspoken gods are kind of on the rise in terms of the amount of people that follow them. While if you worship any of the old gods or any of the unspoken gods, you have to acknowledge the existence of the rest of the pantheon. Most people don't worship an entire pantheon. Like if you're like Hellenistic, you don't worship every Hellenistic god. You're gonna pick a few. And so there are some people.
Unless you're an Elnet worshiper, in which case you only pick one.
Yeah. I mean, most people will pick one, but some of them are going to pick two. Like, if you worship Arano, you also probably worship Vespa. If you worship Jindal, you probably also worship Dejinal. Jindal is the god of seasons, and Dejinal is the god of weather. They're husbands.
Those are the gay people.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, the religious traditions are... I do kind of compare it to Hellenistic worship in some ways. I will say, there are people who... The thing is that there's kind of that ongoing joke that an atheist in D&D is just an idiot. Because they undeniably exist. So you're not really gonna find atheists anywhere, but there are going to be small sects of people that are, like, the gods are only just different manifestations of a singular spirit instead of they are actual independent spirits. This exists. It's very rare, but it does exist.
Elnet is Christianity, yeah.
Yeah.
Karrakin Elnet worship is specifically Catholicism inspired. But
yeah, you'll see that in a lot of, like, most places have temples. Elnet in Karrakin, I always describe cathedrals. and shit like that. Elnet worship is very much, and the denominational splits in Elnet worship are very much inspired by the denominational
Because Elnet
chaos
can't
that is
tell you what to
Christianity.
do as a worshiper, or
Like,
Elnet doesn't.
You look at Io's interactions with the Lady of Thorns. They directly talk. Io has straight one-on-one conversations with the Lady of Thorns. I have to edit spells like commune and divine intervention because they're like commune and divine intervention because they can just fucking talk to you, and they do. Most well known for this is the Lady of Thorns, who she has so few worshippers that she can afford to be very close with them. Keymore, who prefers
because there's like not that many.
Yeah.
Keymore will sit on your couch.
Keymore will come crash on your couch. He just
so
prefers
bad.
the mortal world, and he will come crash on your couch. He's the other type god.
I have asked specifically if one god were to get high with Ivory. Again, they have fantasy shroom.
It would be Keymore.
It would be Keymore.
It would be
100%.
Keymore.
There is,
And one day I'm going to fulfill this prophecy and make it happen.
yeah, it's great. But
I'm sorry. I was trying to remember because like we Judice's version of Elnet worship is a lot different than the mainland Karakin and most of the world at large. Honestly, I believe we compared it to like. I think Judice.
Yeah, I put it in chat. I said you grew up either
Yes.
Protestant or Episcopalian.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, actually,
No, we
No,
said he was like
no,
it was like an
because-
Old Testament fundamentalist.
yeah.
Oh,
Judice
yeah.
barely acknowledges the New Testament equivalent of if you're putting pre-divine war. I will say here, we're now talking about things that I haven't talked about on stream. Elnet before the Divine War was actually very involved in like her followers' lives. She was very involved in the day-to-day. She's a goddess of justice. She was big on direct action, and she would actively intervene in like the things that she saw of injustice. She would talk to her followers. It was a thing. And then the Divine War happened, and there were a few events, and then after the Divine War, she just stopped talking to her followers. And no one really knows why, but she became super distant and stopped talking to them, and that created this very fractured denominations that we have. But she used to be very different. Judice was raised in a tradition that kind of worships this older version of Elnet and acknowledges this older version of her more than the current version of her. So that's what we're talking about there with Judice's things being very, very different. That is the flavor of different. But yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Because if not, then I think we might be rating Travis McElroy.
I think we...
It's time to raid Travis McElroy. That was our last
Thank you
question.
very much, everyone,
So-
for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you all
We
so
love you all
much.
very much, and the last...
Stick around for just a moment, maybe, because you can't watch live tomorrow, but I hope it goes well. Oh yeah, and hey, we are posting it on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Yeah, and it'll be on Twitch for 2 weeks.
And we're gonna upload it to YouTube so you can access it. And also, you have my Discord if you just want an info dump. I got you. Yeah, but yeah.
Right, who runs the stream and who picks how we raid?
Silvi knows how raids work, so it's gonna be
Okay.
Silvi's.
I don't know what Travis's account on Twitch is.
It's called The Travis McElroy.
Okay.
He's currently playing Monster
Hi,
Prom.
Mom.
All right, the Travis McElroy.
Bye.
So we're doing this. Thank you all very much for tuning in.
Give your
Please
dog a
attend
pet
our
for me.
raid, so maybe they will notice us.
Yes,
Cry?
please attend our raid.
Love you all very much.
But yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Desktop audio is off and moving to